So what makes a law just? Is it simply because someone in power wrote it down? Today, we're exploring a 2,000-year-old book that tackled this question head-on, a text that searched for a source of law hidden in nature itself.
I mean, really think about it. When a government passes a law that feels fundamentally wrong, is it still just? Is obedience always the right thing to do? This isn't just some dusty academic debate. It's a question that challenges the very foundation of society. And over 2 millennia ago, the brilliant Roman statesman, orator, and philosopher Marcus Tullius Cicero took on this exact problem. In his work De Legibus, that's Latin for On the Laws, he went searching for a universal blueprint for justice, a law that stood above the laws of any king or senate.
All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we're going to join Cicero's search for a higher law. Then, we'll see how he planned to build a better Rome, not from scratch, but by perfecting what was already there. We'll decode what I'm calling the source code of his idea of justice, trace the incredible story of how this book survived against all odds, and finally, discover why his ancient ideas still shape our world today.
So how do you even begin a conversation about something as massive as the true nature of law? Well, Cicero does something brilliant. He doesn't set his dialogue in a stuffy courtroom or a noisy political chamber. He takes us on a walk. Imagine it. Him, his brother Quintus, and their friend Atticus are just strolling along the peaceful Liris River. And it's right there, surrounded by nature, that they debate the foundations of society. It's the perfect setting, because as we're about to see, Cicero believed that true law comes directly from nature itself. Now, Cicero wasn't just pulling these ideas out of thin air. He was deeply inspired by the Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote his own famous book called Laws centuries earlier. But, and this is a huge but, their goals were completely different.
And you can see that contrast perfectly here. On one side, you've got Plato basically building an ideal city in the clouds. It's a brilliant theoretical fantasy. But Cicero, on the other hand, was a practical statesman. He wasn't interested in imagining a perfect world. He wanted to fix the one he lived in. His mission was to take the real laws of Rome and elevate them, grounding them in something timeless and universal. So where does he find this timeless source of justice? Not in the shifting opinions of the public or the decrees of politicians. For Cicero, the source code is found inside every single one of us. He makes the case for a concept that would change the world: natural law.
This is the absolute core of his argument. True law isn't something we invent, it's something we discover. For Cicero, it's written into the fabric of the universe itself, and into the one thing that truly makes us human: our capacity for reason. Cicero believed that this ability to reason is the one thing that separates us from every other creature on earth. More than that, he saw it as a spark of the divine within us.
This quote reveals just how radical his idea was. Cicero is arguing that if humans and gods both share the gift of reason, then we are all, in a sense, citizens of the same universal community, governed by the same universal law.
Let's just walk through his logic here on the slide. It starts with reason as a divine gift. This creates a shared link between humanity and the divine. That shared reason is the true law. And the incredible result? We all belong to one community under this cosmic law. And this completely flips the script on why we should be good people. It's not about fearing punishment from the state or chasing a reward. For Cicero, justice is about living in harmony with our own highest nature, with our reason.
What a powerful line. He's saying that if you're only good because it benefits you, you're not actually virtuous. You're just being strategic or cunning. True justice has to be pursued for its own sake, because it's the right thing to do.
So we have this powerful, revolutionary idea. But how did a concept from 2,000 years ago, written on fragile scrolls, even make it to us today? Well, the story of the book's physical survival is almost as dramatic as its content. Cicero likely never even published De Legibus, and what we have is incomplete, only 3 books of a suspected 5 or more.
And this timeline of its survival is just incredible. For centuries, the text clung to existence in a handful of copies, hidden away in monasteries, nearly lost to time. But thanks to the heroic work of monks, poets like Petrarch, and scholars, it was rediscovered, copied, and finally, its survival was secured forever by the invention of the printing press. It's a true literary rescue mission.
So, why does this ancient, incomplete book still matter so profoundly? Because Cicero's central claim that justice isn't arbitrary but is grounded in a universal human nature is the bedrock of some of our most cherished modern ideals. And he wasn't just talking in abstractions. As you can see here, he applied his philosophy to craft real-world proposals. In his laws on religion, he calls for honoring tradition and respecting ancestors, but also for limiting excessive spending and public grief. Everything is guided by that core principle of balance and reason, not blind dogma. And that idea, that there is a moral law higher than the state, a law that all human laws must answer to, is revolutionary. It is the philosophical DNA of concepts like universal human rights. Think about the Nuremberg trials after World War II. The defense that Nazi officials were just following orders was rejected because the prosecution argued they had violated a higher natural law. That's a direct line of thought stretching right back to Cicero.
And this is the ultimate lesson. A truly just society isn't just one that has laws. It's one that strives to write the right laws. Laws that reflect the best parts of our shared humanity, our capacity for reason, and our connection to one another. Cicero gave us the intellectual tools to make that distinction. He challenges us, even today, to look past the ink on the page and search for the deeper source of justice that resides within us all. Thanks for joining me for this one.